General Protocol Spaces, banking on freedom.
Welcome to General Bull 38 of N. Tokens and conferences is the topic, but I have a feeling we're going to talk about a lot of different things. But a big focus here is, I think, not only what's going on this year, but that there's already a huge number of things starting to get rolling already and moving for 2025 and even ahead of that. So I don't know, I have a lot of things we could talk about. And then each person on the stream here has specific things going on related to tokens and conferences. So really looking forward to hearing what everyone has to say and what's going to be happening this year and next year. So let's see, we have here Fiendish. So Fiendish is something that I'm hoping he'll tell us a little bit about that he's been working on. And then Dagger has something awesome. And there's also Shadow Wizards in the audience here. They're also doing very cool stuff. And I've been reading their white paper recently, so I'm really hoping to hear about the Moria, the stablecoin. And Mathieu is always working on many different things, not the least of which is the Cashenize wallet, among other things. So I'm looking forward to hearing what Mathieu, what you're focusing on and thinking about these days. And Jonathan has a number of things that he's working on with conferences and otherwise. So yeah, we have a lot to go on. And I was thinking the biggest one, right? Not the biggest one, but the kind of biggest new thing that I think is happening right now is on the token side. And Dagger, could you tell us a little bit about what it is that you guys are working on with Moria?
We're not saving them best for last, no? Yeah, we've been working on Moria, and as you guys have seen, I recently released a white paper, and a lot of people have been reading it. I haven't gotten much feedback, so I assume everything is perfect. Yeah, and we have been adding like the latest UI improvements to it. So this week we managed to add a user interface for recollateralizing and repayment. We already had a user interface for creating a loan. And we're hoping to launch a test beta run of Moria 1st December. So where we will invite
soon.
everyone. Yeah, so we will invite everyone on the whitelist to join us.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely already put my name on there. So yeah, so tell us though, why, so I obviously think it's something important, but could you tell us just why is it important? Why is this a big deal? Why are people excited about it? Why is it interesting?
Well, it's like two products in one. So it's basically a gift that keeps keeps on giving. For the first thing is you can take a loan, right? That means if you want to invest in something else, you do not have to sell your BCH. You can lock it up as collateral, and then you can do your extra investments. Or you can use it to gear up your BCH investment. The second thing
right. So when you say taking an investment, you mean the collateral. You can put your BCH into a smart contract, and then that allows you, together with someone else, to take on exposure to some other asset like gold or BTC or whatever, while all being on the BCH blockchain. Is that right?
Well, assuming there is demand for the US dollar, which there of course is, then you can take your loan.
There's certainly supply.
Certainly supply. Well, we're creating. You can take your MUSD to Cauldron and sell it for BCH, where you can then reinvest it in something else, or just gear up your BCH.
Okay, right. All right. I'm sorry. In the second one, I interrupted you. Sorry about that.
What was the second one? Oh, okay. The second one, yeah. The second aspect of Moria, yeah. The second aspect is that you have a token that represents the value of the dollar, which would be, and that is a very important token. If you look at any other DeFi decentralized exchange out there, you will see the most traded asset is some kind of USD token, right? It's a TUSD or USDC or whatever. Um, and this would be a very valuable addition to Bitcoin Cash DeFi, because now you can hold something that is backed by real collateral, being like Bitcoin Cash, that actually has some backing value, which would, I don't know, feel like more safe asset than most others that are available. I mean, we have some good tokens out there, but it's hard to put in a lot of money, and everything out there today has very little value locked. So if you try to put in some investments, you will affect the price quite hard.
Right. Liquidity is king, right? If you don't have liquidity, nobody's using it. It's not, feeds on itself, that whole network effect.
So having a USD token will surely add a lot of more liquidity to Bitcoin Cash DeFi and more utility.
So yeah, I did read the white paper, and but for the people listening, like maybe they'll think, wait, it's late. This isn't, it's late for such a thing as a stable coin. What is it that has made it so that now is the right timing for this to become a real thing on BCH? What's going on that's special here that makes it come out now as opposed to 5 years ago?
Of course, the cash token upgrades enabled this. Another thing is, I think we're still learning the potential of cash token. We employ quite a few tricks in the contract to make this happen, like locking BCH together with an NFT into a contract where the NFT tells you who owns the BCH and how much they borrowed. I don't know how technical we should get, but I feel we're using cash tokens in quite a new way that hasn't been done before.
Right.
As we did with Coldrun, when we created UTXOs with both fungible tokens and BCH in them.
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of new power. I mean, I have my own opinion about this question, right? Because we've been building for a while, and the things that we can do are becoming, the number of things that we can do are becoming larger. And with cash tokens, it just completely opened up the doors to all kinds of possibilities, right? With NFTs, because you and I are programmers, right? Like we know it's not just about collectibles. That's something you can do, but it opens up a whole new kind of level of power and programmability to the network. So if someone were to ask, why didn't you build this thing that you're doing on Ethereum or Solana or something like that? What would be your answer to that? Why are you doing it on BCH?
Well, BCH is, I mean, why did we start Coldrun on BCH? Why didn't we do it on Ethereum? Because BCH
same. Yeah.
Because BCH actually scales, right? So you can have layer 1 transactions, and you can have a lot of them, and they will not cost you shitloads of money in fees, and it's fast also because we can rely on a mempool, right? We don't have to wait for a block confirmation to see the result of our transaction. Yeah.
Yeah, those are huge, right?
Yeah.
Those are huge things that I guess a lot of people still don't realize, right? But they're the reasons that pretty much the same reasons we started building AnyHedge many years ago now is pretty much the same, right? Well, it actually scales. We know it's going to scale. And we knew that the account models and so forth were not going to scale a long time ago before things got expensive, right? And then well, I should be careful, but I think any serious computer scientist should have known account model wouldn't scale. But it scales. It stays cheap because it scales, and we can have a lot of transactions, and yeah.
additionally, we have, I mean, the tools are just popping up now. They have been in the works for a long time, but
Right.
I wouldn't have been able to make the contract, for example, without CashGroup.
Oh yeah, no.
It's just too complex to write this in which is script, which is basically assembly.
Yeah, it's basically assembly, right? It's kind of fun going back to it, but it's also like, yeah, okay, I do appreciate high level tools. Let's get back to to writing in high level language. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
you basically made a big step when you created Oracle for Bitcoin Cash.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah, it's one of those things where when you're in on the ground floor, it sounds nice 10 years later, but when you're actually in on the ground floor, it means you're the one building the building. There's like nothing there for you at the
yeah, right.
beginning.
Yeah,
It's not as carefree as it sounds.
and
Yeah.
we have
And there's-
like Electrum servers that are working well now. We have Electrum server library that works well now. So the building blocks are coming slowly but surely, and yeah, it lets us build on top of that. It's awesome.
Right. And then there's another big reason for us at least is that from our perspective, the permissionless aspect of Bitcoin Cash of crypto is the key thing, right? If you don't have that, then you really don't have much. You might as well go back to custodial systems if you can't really have a permissionless system. And that's one that we think Bitcoin Cash is the leader on in terms of actually figuring out a way to have a money network that is actually permissionless to the greatest degree possible. I think Bitcoin Cash is actually the number one leader on this aspect. Is that kind of important to you guys, or is that less of an
I
issue for you?
absolutely agree. Like, what is the point of creating a DeFi on
Right,
a permissioned network, right?
right, right. Yeah, let's do inefficient databases and buzzwords. Yeah, it doesn't really get you anywhere. Right.
Hmm.
Okay. All right. Very cool. All right. So yeah, please. I'm going to put a link in the Twitter thread, so I'll link to it. So Moria.money, and let's see. I'll put that up right now. Yeah.
So
So
if you
just go check out
just
Moria.money.
so if you want to join the test round, we will just because of it is a test round, so there is it's risk. We probably will deploy the contract again later on. We have a whitelist for the most GGN people out there who want to help us break stuff and time things, and yeah,
Who want to be part of the construction crew on the ground floor?
yeah,
Yeah,
perfect,
I'm in. I'm in. I'm all for that. Yeah. Very
awesome.
cool. All right, yeah. So thank you for telling us about that. Moria.money. Go check it out if you want to see something interesting that's coming, and yeah, a stablecoin that actually scales on layer one. Awesome! I can't wait to see that running. Um, so Fiendish, you with us? Is your audio working?
Hey, Emergent. Yeah, I'm here. Audio is hopefully
Hey,
working.
hey. What did you think? I saw some of your hearts and stuff on what we were saying about BCH. I think we're of the same mind on a lot of those things.
I think so. Yeah, there's so many things that make Bitcoin Cash the cryptocurrency to be working on, but the scalability is of course very important, and the speed, the inexpensiveness of using it, but above all, the most critical thing is its decentralized properties, to bring all these wonderful facets of UTXO, but allow it to scale and still be decentralized, which is critical for its intended purpose as global money.
Absolutely. Very cool. And I wanted to ask you, so I haven't looked into much. We talked a little bit about the project that you're running, and I was hoping you could tell us a bit about that, the Fiendish project.
Yeah, sure. Um, so yeah, we've launched a weekly spaces stroke podcast called Fiendish and Friends, which is a 1 hour format to keep it faster pace, but allows some time to explore the themes and topics discussed. And the idea of this Fiendish and Friends, it's been around for a while. Wanted to start at the beginning of the year, but hey, life got in the way, as it so often does. But I thought, hey, now's the time just to throw my weight behind this and get this launched. And it's designed to grow the ecosystem through more content, which BCH could always have more content, fun games, competitions, news. And for example, the one we've got Fiendish and Friends tonight at 8 o'clock Central European time. And we've got a competition there to win 50,000 euro for coming up with the best catchphrase for the show. So the idea is to generate some interest, generate some fun, but also get some cash tokens transactions happening, and then steer those transactions towards websites and services using Bitcoin Cash, in this case, BCH Guru. And the idea behind this is that every week there are special guests within the ecosystem, not necessarily Bitcoin Cash, because the point is to sort of get out there, get into, out of the bubble, out of the Bitcoin Cash bubble, and expand into the wider crypto scene and beyond. And those guests are going to come on and talk about different things, maybe the current news, the state of the ecosystem, their product or service. So tonight we have Satoshi Nakamoto on. He's talking about badges.cash. Interesting. You can put your BCH there and lock it up for a certain amount of time using cash token scripts, and you get paid out your badges token, which is a novel idea. And also fundme.cash, which is a great, easy to use alternative to Flipstarter, which allows Wallet Connect, and it allowed me to donate to Cheapy's Flipstarter, which brings thinking about next week. So Cheapy is on there to talk about his Flipstarter and all the work that he's doing for the community, and it's also a chance. Because of course I spend a lot of time within the community. I know what people are doing, have a good insight into a lot of those things. So I can not only allow people to sort of pitch themselves, but I can also join in and give my recommendations where I can see other, services or products, or in this case, people that are doing great work to help Bitcoin Cash and its mission to become money for the world. So I'm really looking forward to that. So Cheapy's on next week. We've also got Base Poker HQ. So they've been making a bit of noise in the Telegram groups recently. So they're new on the scene. And this is a chance to get to know them, get to see what they're offering. So they've got a new website offering poker when you're supporting BCH. And also, finally, there'll be Milan. So I think many in the community know Milan, formerly known as Mira Hurley. So this is someone from the Nano community to discuss P2P Cash, because I see these sort of outreaches. From my experience and by everything that I've learned about Nano, it doesn't compare at all to BCH, but I'm sure there's good reasons why people in the Nano community choose that over BCH. And the hope is here that people from the Nano community will tune in, because having that person in there, having a really good and honest and open discussion about the pros and cons of both the coins, and it will get people to listen, to educate them, and then to make their own decision. Maybe there's something in this BCH, maybe not, but my guessing is maybe there is something in this. Maybe I'll take a bit of a deeper look, a deeper explore, and then it's a sort of the gateway into then the BCH ecosystem. Maybe then they'll go on to Jeremy's BCH podcast shows and get more in-depth information, or join yourself, on the general protocol spaces and that's the intention behind it. So really excited to see how this goes. We're on just the second episode today, so it's still very new, very fresh. And to coincide with the show, there are also two tokens rather, that have been created, and they're available already on Cauldron Dex. Thank you, Dagger, for having that. It's a really great Dex to use, very easy with Wallet Connect, and now with the new upgrade that's come out, I think today, from what I've seen, it looks much nicer and much more intuitive to use. And so the two tokens we've got, Fiendish Emerald. So there's a trillion supply of this, and it's all pretty much all sat in my wallet right now. The idea behind the Fiendish Emerald is to
Lucky
encourage
numbers.
social activity. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 1 trillion. So it's important for everyone to bear in mind. Go and check out these tokens. Look at the supply. Before you consider them as an investment tool, because 1 trillion is a big number. And so yeah, the idea behind this is to use it for fun and games, social activities, to give it out in freebies, to encourage social activity, and to increase transactions But it's also, I think the important thing is getting people used to what actually cash tokens are. So in competitions, many people would be offering their regular BCH address. And so that addresses that. So to educate people, actually, you need your cash tokens aware address, and put, teaching them how to find that, how to get that, how to use that, which wallets to use so that they can actually see the token, such as Paytaka, which is currently my favorite wallet of choice, although there are so many within the BCH ecosystem, which is fantastic. I think I don't know how many wallets we've got, to be honest, and that's quite a statement when you think about the size of BCH today. So yeah, it encourages people hopefully to be making more transactions, and then to make the effort of learning what tools are available to go onto sites such as Cauldron Dex, to trade there, to open up a pool, for example, and just figure it out, like what's here, what's available, and like have some fun on it, and maybe then come up with your own ideas of, hey, what I can do with this. The second token is more novel. So the second token, and this is the one that's really like supercharging the idea to supercharge Fiendish and Friends, is called the Fiendish token. And the Fiendish token um, is a token. So is there's 5 million of them. There was a competition right at the start to figure out what do they represent. What does each token represent? And the clue was that there's 125,000 of them burnt every year, and some clever person or a group of people figured out, okay, that's like basically 40 years, and then it's gone. And that's because the idea of the Fiendish token, I wanted to link the token to some measure of utility, so that it has a base level of value to people. And what I thought was, well, what can I link it to that is, and of course it's as it's just, there's nothing smart about the token. It is there's no smart contracts attached to it, so it'd be a trust-based thing. But what's the thing that I could attach that to? And the idea here was to attach every token to 1 minute as a base of time, my time to be specific, on whatever that may be, whether it's helping someone out with consultation or advice. And it gives it some sort of stability, because my time, like everyone on this call, is incredibly valuable. The point that I made, or to sort of help guess this, well, if you were offered 21 million Bitcoin Cash today, so the entire supply or potential supply of Bitcoin Cash, but you're going to die tomorrow, would you take it? No one would, because time is actually the most valuable commodity by a long way. So that was the idea of the Fiendish token, which means that, so every year 125,000 tokens are burnt, because that's another year less to achieve the Fiendish dream, which is an entire world using a decentralized currency, Bitcoin Cash, and being able to transact with each other freely and without intermediaries. And it also means that when every Fiendish token is used, so it's sent back, it's traded for my time, for my services, to try and get people making transactions. The second Fiendish and Friends episode needed 1 token to be sent to an address to greenlight that, which was done quite shortly afterwards. Those tokens that are used are also burnt. So that 1 token, for example, representing 1 minute, gets then 60 minutes of hopefully goodness, of good news, good information, and something designed to build the community, get more transactions going as people learn the ecosystem and understand the ecosystem better. And if successful, it's also got that feedback loop, because we can see on chain how many Fiendish tokens are being burnt, how much interest is there in that podcast, does it have actually financial value, and that financial value can only come through offering something interesting enough to a wide enough audience that gets people interested in BCH.
Okay, wait. I want to buy some of these and have you do some shit. Like, what's the process for me to have you do stuff by buying these tokens?
As Jonathan did, so Jonathan actually reached out straight away, and I'm really sorry. I was in between 2 meetings, so he just reached out on Telegram and asked for 30 minutes of time. I agreed to that, thinking, yeah, at some point, over the next couple of days, we can find a slot. And he was actually thinking immediately, it's like, oh shit, I can't do that. I've actually got about 20 minutes, and then I'm in a meeting. So reach out to me over Telegram. Reach over me if you haven't. If for those of you who don't have contact with me, you can reach out to me over Twitter to discuss if you want to cash in those fiendish tokens, how to go about doing that, and how I can help or assist in your project, in your ideas, in your anything in that space to benefit yourself. I mean, so it's really clear to anyone that's listening who maybe doesn't know me or doesn't know me so well. I'm convinced very thoroughly that Bitcoin Cash's success lays very much in the network. We need to grow the network. And we need to increase the amount of people that are using Bitcoin Cash. But how do you do that? And this is where I'm convinced that the way to achieve that is through businesses. It's through setting up, having more entrepreneurs thinking how to actually add value, because people pay for valuable things. And if people are paying for valuable things, you have enough money to expand whatever it is you're doing to the benefit of Bitcoin Cash and everyone within it. And so that's the things that really interest me greatly. I know, Emergent, you're doing a great job, of course, General Protocols, in creating a lot of value and profits to go with it that can then fund exciting new ventures such as XO. I hope that answered your question. So reach out.
All right. So we talked to you, and then we somehow burn the tokens, and you dress up in a maid costume and then do whatever it is that I wanted you to do. That's pretty much it.
So this tokens get sent to my address, and then they're burnt, so you can see that on chain. And but the thing is that before sending, my time there's limits. So if the thing is that you're asking is degrading, or then I can refuse. so
All right,
so
thank you.
maybe not the maid uniform, but we could go for a fireman.
Policeman. Jonathan, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say, while you go off and try to figure out how to buy those tokens, John, I just want to mention that we have a very interesting little group of people on this call right now, because if I go back to when Fiendish released his token, I decided while listening to the episode that, hey, I'm just going to grab some, because I do value Fiendish time, and I would like to, ask some questions every now and then, get some feedback, and he's a great guy for that. And so I went to Cauldron, which is something that Digger here made, and I connected with Cash and Ice over the Wallet Connect protocol, and Cash and Ice is a wallet that Matthew here did. And I bought myself some tokens and sent them to my wallet. And if I don't misunderstand it, Cauldron and or Cash and Ice, or both, actually uses the Electrum Cash library underneath the hood somewhere that I made. I think Cash and Ice uses mainnet.js, which uses Electrum Cash, and I don't know where in the Cauldron stack. Digger, are you using Electrum Cash in any way in the Cauldron app?
Yeah, of course. We use Electrum Cash, and then we use the Rostrum Electrum server. So we very much depend on your library.
Yes, I think this is kind of beautiful that, like, the action I took, because I just felt like it while listening to the podcast, was enabled by the fact that we have all worked to build out all these tools and services to the point where I don't have to worry about where they came from anymore. It was actually fairly trivial for me to just go there, click the Wallet Connect, pick the number I wanted, click buy, and send some money, and be done with it, and just have the tokens. It's kind of nice.
It's kind of nice. It's super simple. So I was pretty blown away. If for anyone that's listening, there's a video that Paul made on YouTube about how to create a meme coin and list it on Cauldron Dex, which is also a good thing to just watch if you just want to figure out how to use the Dex. But it was the first time for me, and it's a new world. And with Wallet Connect and Paytaka, or you can also use Cash and Eyes if you're using a web wallet, it was really, really simple. So I could figure it out. So if I can figure it out, if anyone out there is like thinking, oh, this is too complicated for me, trust me, you got this.
All right, so where can I send people to buy these tokens and have you dress up in a maid outfit? Okay, where'd you send me that?
So I've sent a link onto the so if you just go on to app.cauldron.quest, or if you just type in Cauldron Quest into Google, and then you will open up the Cauldron Dex, and then you type in Fiendish, and there will open up, then you can just click on swap, if I remember correctly, and then you'll see the Fiendish token. And there, if you click on the Wallet Connect button, you can use the Paytac or other Wallet Connect wallet. Scan in that QR code, it links up your wallet to that website, and then it will be able to read out how much BCH you have in your wallet and all the other tokens you may have there. And then you can just say how much, either how much BCH you want to give, and it will then tell you how many tokens you receive, or what I'd say is better is how many tokens do you want to buy and how much that's going to cost you in BCH. So the thing that was also new to me, and this was a rookie error, when I started, I had a thought in my mind, I wanted to sell a certain amount of time of these tokens for a certain price, and then I learned about liquidity. So so apologies to that. So every token you buy, because of the liquidity, that the price goes up. Or if you sell, that the price goes down. So it may sound obvious to everyone that are used to DEXs, but for me this was new. So I've added, in total now, there's been quite a bit of more liquidity added onto that to reduce that price change. But what I've also said to, there has been several members in the community who I know and trust, and who I've said, if you want to buy a certain, a larger amount, then we can do it. Just contact me and we can do it personally, so that it's not spiking that price really, crazy, and all of a sudden it's going up 2-3x after one purchase.
Awesome. All right. I shared the link, app.cauldron.quest. Search for Fiendish and have him do your bidding. It's right there on the Twitter thread. And you said 40 years? We're going to give you a workout, man.
There's 40 years. There's 40 years on there, because I think like that's the most years that I could imagine working. But the thing is, what I also imagine is let's face it, we will have success, and we're going to be rocking it. And why would we ever give up? Because BCH is going to be used everywhere, way before 40 years. But there's still going to be so much to do within the ecosystem. So hell, for me, the day that I stop working on P2P decentralized cash would be the day that I die. So
that's the way it is. Yeah, and that's something that's I don't know, to a large degree. I think that's somewhat specific to BCH ecosystem, right? People who are in it really for the outcome, for the permissionless money for the world. It's to be here still after dealing with the price issues and whatnot. It's kind of a proof of dedication to some degree.
Price issues. That's great. I'm putting that in the quote book.
Price issues.
Yeah. So if I can, I want to jump in quickly about the token selling issue that Fiendish brought up. So what people have suggested is, for example, for a TapSwap, to make a contract where you can list fungible tokens kind of in bulk, but then that people can only partially fulfill orders. So currently on TapSwap, the marketplace, the offers are kind of everything or nothing. But of course, this smart contract could be adapted for a fungible token, so it becomes easy for Fiendish to sell these tokens at a fixed price, and then people can only take, for example, 100 or 100,000 of these tokens, and this wouldn't affect the price. So that's definitely, I think Pat is aware of this, and there has been some demand from users and token creators. So I feel it's definitely something we will see in the next year probably.
I hope you will take use of that, and you don't even have to, right? Like other people could do that. Fiendish, you could do it yourself, or others who get the token. That's one of the nice things about a permissionless ecosystem is, people do what they want to do, and that's their right if they want to do it that way. I look forward to seeing how that evolves. and I'm definitely going to have you
Yeah,
do
me too,
something.
to be honest, because it's novel. And I started thinking about this, and to be quite honest, like with the whole the economics of it, and as you can understand, the fact that when listed, I wasn't quite aware of the price differential that would happen when people started actually buying it. So I'd be lying to say that this was all incredibly well thought out, with lots of maths to think about the how this is all going to um, work to exactly as I think. So it's an experimental thing. But it's also why the amount of tokens that have been made available is relatively limited, because to make sure that, as you say, it's decentralized, once people have that token, they can do what they want with it, which is correct. That's the whole point of decentralized networks. But of course, what I don't want, and what I want to make sure is that first, that I can deliver, that token's value it's representative of the value that's being created in the space, by everything to do with Fiendish and Friends and the activities of what I can deliver. So if there was to be too much out there, then all of a sudden I couldn't deliver, and then people are going to be upset and frustrated, and that's just damaging, not just to myself, which in that case I care about very much, but then damaging to the wider ecosystem, which would not be good for the mission that we're on.
Yeah, I as much as I have been joking someone about this, right? This is a very serious commitment. Putting out there that you commit to engaging with people on relevant topics and things that are meaningful with your time is a big commitment, and your reputation is now tied up in that coin. So this is definitely beyond a meme coin, right? This is something that has real meaning attached to it, and your reputation attached to it. So yeah, I'm very fascinated to see how it's gonna evolve. And actually, on that topic of just all these things evolving as we go ahead, Mathieu. So if anybody listening wasn't at the BCH Bliss conference in 2024 this year, Mathieu gave a fantastic presentation about like the past, the history, where we are now, where we're going, all that kind of thing with Bitcoin Cash, with tokens, with all the things that are possible with permissionless money. And what are you thinking? Like, what do you see these days? What's different today? What have you seen going on, and what are you excited about, Mathieu?
Yeah, so to continue on what the other two speakers said, I think there's a lot of community learning going on. For example, Fiendish with how AMM dexes work, and also Dagger with how over-collateralized loan contracts work. Because many people in BCH, unless they are active in the Ethereum ecosystem, they might not have used over-collateralized loans at all. So some people might have used them on have done crypto loans on custodial platforms, but that's fundamentally different, of course. That would be in a trusted setting, and we have seen many of these systems go belly up. Yeah, so I think in BCH we see a big era of experimentation, and then also for users that currently all these DeFi protocols that were only available elsewhere on smart contracts chains are now available on Bitcoin Cash, because Bitcoin Cash is becoming a leading smart contract chain. So I think that's super interesting to see, and I think we will only see more of this. So more of users learning everything else that is possible. From ranging from loans to DEXs and all the different variants. So for example, for DEXs, you can have different curves. So not everything has to be a constant product maker market curve. So with a simple multiplication, you can do very advanced things, or you can apply these AMM DEX type things in a prediction market setting, for example. So you can have where an outcome, for example, if there's a yes/no outcome, this could also be priced on an AMM DEX. And for loan contracts, there are, of course, many different types of loans. You could, like Dagger explained, the Moria protocol has two functions. It's both a loan protocol, but also a stable coin. But you could separate out these two functions. So you could have something that's only a loan protocol, and that functions kind of like a money market. This is what Aave does on Ethereum. So then someone who has, for example, tokens would put up these tokens available for borrowing, and then there would be a market set interest rate. So unlike the stablecoin and what the Moria protocol wants to do, there would no new asset would be created with borrowing. So with Moria, you would put up collateral, and this kind of create a new stablecoin which is brought into circulation. But you can also make loan protocols which are peer-to-peer. So these are fundamentally different, but also need to be market governed to have an interest rate. So the amount of borrowers and lenders, the supply and demand is matched, and so an equilibrium is found. So I think in all these kind of topics, we will see much more experimentation and also learning, both from developers and from users.
Learning and the tooling, right? The tooling that gets built from that learning, because as we want to build these products and interfaces and apps, you have to build out what you need to make things work, and then the next layer can get built on top of that, right?
Yeah, definitely. So, for example, regarding the tooling, the Calderon contract was originally written in the white paper. It was written in just opcode, so in raw BCH script. And as Dager has said, CashCrypt is much handier to create large applications or large contracts. Of course, you can still do it hand by hand with opcodes. For example, this is how JEDEX was created. But then you really need an interactive editor where you can see the stack trace. So you would need to use the Bitoff IDE. So interestingly, for Calderon, we have seen third parties. So I think Hossein developed a libal template for interacting with the Calderon DEX. So this way, other developers who are not part of the Calderon team could also easily interact with the smart contracts on-chain. And recently, just as a proof of concept, I used the CashCrypt tooling, so the CashCrypt SDK, to also make an artifact. So it becomes very easy to interact with Calderon contracts. And I reached out to Dager directly to ask him some questions about how you would find all these Calderon contracts on chain. And so also in this area, there is experimentation and learning, because both TapSwap and Calderon now mark their pay-to-script hash addresses on chain with an op return output. So this makes it easy for indexers like ChainGraph to find all these outputs on chain, or you could scan the blocks locally on your full node for all these op return outputs, which indicate a smart contract. And then you can, even though it's pay-to-script hash, so it's the script is concealed through hashing, you can still interact with all these publicly available contracts. So I think that's another very interesting thing, and also relates to the tooling. So you can now use the CashCrypt SDK to interact with the Calderon contracts, which I think is a nice addition.
Oh man, all of that is amazing. For the very technical people out there, the things he mentioned are like, there's a whole angle of technical security and hacking, and can you fake those op returns and all of that kind of stuff, and it all revolves around the fact that those P2SH contracts, the smart contracts on BCH, have a large degree of privacy built into them, right, before you actually spend your money. So it's a really interesting aspect where that doesn't exist in other places that smart contracts are going on, where a lot of what you do can be private up to the point that you actually execute whatever it is, or finalize whatever it is that you were involved in, which is very different from other chains. It's a whole universe of thought that you have to get into when you think about these UTXO smart contracts.
I'm very happy to see other developers start to use Calderon as a protocol. And I'm glad to see Hossein made the library. And I've seen some demo of Calderon being used directly in wallets, which is awesome. So,
right, this is one of those things about an actually decentralized ecosystem where the people involved, of course, are competing to some degree. You know, like the success of Cauldron, or especially of Moria, like the stability aspect of it is to some degree a competitor with what our company, General Protocols, is providing, right? BCH Bull and the AnyHedge stability contracts. But really, it's so obvious to those of us involved that we both benefit from both of us being successful, and the competition is good for everyone. And we build tools that you guys use, and you guys are going to build tools that we use. And that's something that you really don't get in a traditional business environment. There's something unique about a permissionless ecosystem where there's no king, there's no single owner, and the network effect depends on what we're all doing. I don't know. There's something very special about it.
I mean, it's also beneficial to us that other people are using the protocol. It demonstrates that the protocol is actually decentralized, that it's actually something you can work on. And I know that I have seen like in you guys have been public about trying it out, but I see also just looking at the blockchain that others have been using the protocol. There are some bots trading back and forth. I know XLV has a lot of the trading volume. I think it's a bot. I don't know. I see some arbitrage bots. Yeah, it's awesome.
Dude, the first time somebody built a bot to work with the AnyHedge protocol, that was kind of like an achievement unlocked for us, right? Like somebody has made a bot that automates interaction with this protocol, right? And it's not even necessarily us involved, but somebody taking the time to make a bot is just a kind of.
Yeah, I mean, it shows that you made something cool that other people want to put their time into. Like Fiendish said, like your time is valuable, and if you spend time on us, we're happy. It's a statement.
Have we lost you, John?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was saying a lot of what people are doing with this is on L1, and the stuff that we work on is very low trust type things, right? So when people work on a bot, sometimes they think, oh, this is something fake. Or if they hear bot, it means something fake. But when you're working with real permissionless money, you can't really fake that, right? You're either working with real money and doing real contracts, or you're not. You can't really put up fake things very easily. So there's something pretty meaningful about somebody making a bot here. It's not just some kind of extraction. They have to find it useful in some way to be doing that. So yeah, thank you, Daiger, Matthew, everybody. And I wanted to move on, if it's okay, to Jonathan, who has worked on, as he said, he's kind of in the middle of all these things that people are building and people have worked on. But there's another thing, the other topic of this space, which is the tokens and conferences. So Jonathan, could you tell us what's going on? So we enjoyed the 2024 BCH Bliss conference, where we paid BCH for NFTs, which were tickets. So the tickets were NFTs. And when we went to the conference, you show up at the door and they say, show me your NFT. And you show your wallet and you prove that you have one of these NFT tickets. And they say, okay, welcome in. And we actually got a poster, right? It was amazing. Like we got a poster of our specific NFT ticket. It was awesome. I still have it here in my place. So I hear there's something coming up. Could you tell us?
Yeah. So I'll mention a little curious thing about the poster first. So on my wall right now behind me, I have 5 photo frames, and one of them has a poster in it from the 2024 Bliss conference. And I bought these photo frames as a commitment to actually making Bliss happen 5 times in a row. And after that, I'll reconsider where we are and what to do next. In that spirit, we have been working behind the scene to prepare for a Bliss 2025 to celebrate the next upgrade that Bitcoin Cash has and continue our newborn tradition of bringing developers together and helping them and enabling them to go to the places we want to go together. And so last week, we announced that we will be holding a conference next year. It will be in the same location. It will be 3 days instead of 2 days. We have a website updated. There's a tentative schedule there. And many of the speakers you saw last year have already reconfirmed that they have interesting developments and are willing to come back and share their findings and give us an update on how things are going.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I just realized I was muted talking to myself again. It's a habit, apparently. So that's fantastic, Jonathan. And is that going to be the same time? Can you tell us some of the details? When is it happening, and how do you expect it to be the same
Yes.
or different from last year? Or sorry, from this year.
Right.
Yeah, this is one of the things I love
Yeah,
about
it already
BCH.
feels
We're
like
already
last year.
working.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're working way ahead
Yeah.
of ourselves. It's fantastic. Yeah.
Right. Well, so this year, the last time we held this, we had some internal goals that we wanted to achieve, and one of the ways that we measured success was going to be how people talk about what they learned or what they got out of Bliss after the event has happened. Particularly, we were looking at how many projects attribute their origins to, like, yeah, we met and talked at Bliss and now we're building this thing. Or how many people said, yeah, I met some people there, they got me the idea to do this, or they told me about this new library and I found the library really good. Like, to see how much value we contributed to the actual developers in the ecosystem, because at this point in time, the best way I think we can do to grow BCH is actually growing the pie, right? Making the addressables user base larger, making sure that there's as many interesting projects going on as we can. For 2025, we're actually targeting the same thing, right? The goal is going to be the same. And we wanted to get 100 people last time. We didn't get 100 people last time. About half of that were physically present, and about 60, so 70 something tokens got sold. And now that we have a bit of reputation behind us and have shown and demonstrated that we actually are able to host a conference that people enjoyed coming to, we intend to retry for that 100 number. Now, we might not get to that 100 because Fiendish in this chat has already committed to selling 150 tickets, which we don't have yet, but if he gets to that, I'll make sure that there exist more tickets and we'll expand the scope of the conference to accommodate that. As for other things that are different, so most of the things that are going to be different are things that are like practical and organizational. So, for example, the live stream that we did last year, it worked, but it wasn't smooth. It had some hiccups along the way, some misconfigurations with microphones and whatnot. And so we're taking the lessons learned and we're adding more time to let the audio videographers, the people doing this, have more time available with the equipment and to do proper testing of all the parts before we get going. We also ship things to the conference, and it turns out that shipping is very unreliable. And the posters that everyone got, they got them on day 2 because our shipping did not arrive, so we couldn't give them out day 1. And we actually ran off to a local print shop to print out the tokens on demand on the spot to compensate for the fact that delivery didn't work out. So we're going to take more time to make sure that these practical details get better handled. We also had some fallout and various inconsistencies in like how far along every speaker was with regards to their presentations, which led to some ambiguity as about like, will we actually have speakers for everything and will everything work out as intended? Some speakers dropped out. And in the end, we kind of covered for that by adding new speakers and some ad hoc, not as well prepared stuff as intended. So for this year, we'll try to do better, try to have the speeches slightly earlier, well prepared, so that we don't have that uncertainty in the end. We also noticed that the 2024 conference had very long days, and it was great to meet people and have those really intense sessions. But among the attendees, you could clearly see focus dropping in the last couple of hours, and people not spending as much attention to the content as expected. And so For next year, we are doing 3 days with a slightly shorter schedule so that people can stay attentive for the full duration.
Dude, I
I
love
mean,
the attention to
Does
detail.
that answer your question?
Yes,
As a- as a-
it's amazing. You're such a good example of somebody who really takes it seriously and really works to make things work, because the conference was already great. And the things that you mentioned, I can kind of think, oh yeah, maybe, all right, fine. But no, it was already great, and just looking forward to it being even better. But if you actually printed 2 posters, I want my second poster too.
Me too. And if I could just say something, so you set your target last year at 100, and this is where I think Bitcoin Cash falters, because the people within Bitcoin Cash are all highly intelligent and highly reasonable people, and it's reasonable to assume, okay, we set our target at 100 last time and we didn't get it, so therefore we should set it again. But what less reasonable people would do, and also those that basically push the boundaries, is say, well, we aimed for 100 last time and we only sold 60% of that. So let's aim for 200 this time and aim for 60% of that. And so with 150, like for me, and I've made a wager on this, it's only a small wager, but I will do everything in my power to win that wager, because I think that the first Bliss was so enjoyable for people there. Like there was a lot of people there who had not been to a BCH conference before, and there was several people there I spoke to who said normally they feel quite awkward in social situations, but at BCH Bliss they felt completely at home. And I think that speaks very highly of the kind of community that is going to BCH Bliss. And I would like to imagine that many of the people that went last year that are able to go again will. And also next year, thinking it'd be interesting to see, what happens here. So I think, Jeremy, you're the one that linked this in with Eric Wall. So Eric Wall was supposed to be at BCH Bliss this year, but cancelled right at the last minute for personal reasons. And in Twitter exchange, Eric Wall said again he will be making it to BCH Bliss this next year. So let's see. But the thing is, you only need a couple of characters, or even one character like that, to bring in a whole fresh set of new eyes to think, okay, what's going on here? Why would someone be taking their time out? As we've discussed, time is the most precious resource. Why would someone be taking their time out to go and check out BCH Bliss when they're not in the BCH community? Because something's interesting is happening here. And so I think Jonathan, to be honest, I think you did a great job last year, and I think you're selling yourself short. I think your target is too low. And I'm really, really, really convinced to prove you wrong on this one. Hopefully you'll be happy when I prove you wrong, and we make BCH Bliss the largest BCH conference yet, and the best yet. So I'm really looking forward to this. It's great news, and thanks for sharing everything about Bliss 2025.
Yeah, I also hope you'll achieve your goal of making me sell more tickets. It's good for everyone. But from where I stand, I have a bit of a risk aversion personality in this context. And this is very prevalent, and you can see it in the work that we do at General Protocols as well. We're moving slow, we're moving steady. And we don't expect good things to happen, and we build as much as we can to make that turn the thing. So when it comes to the Bliss conference, I have certain responsibilities to the people who finance and make this happen. And I don't want to overcommit myself because that has consequences. And I'd rather succeed at a smaller scale first before I move on to a larger scale. It's a similar thing to how we have these like flip starters when people are asking for like 10,000 BCH to do some 5-year work, and people say like, hey man, can you do a 1-month flip starter first? We'll pay you 1 month of that value. You deliver, we see that you deliver, everyone's happy, and then you do it again. That kind of attitude. But I also recognize that we're either in or entering a pretty significant bull market on crypto as a whole. The world is changing. And by the time we get to the ticket sale in January, it might look very different. And I might have to scale up far, far beyond that 100 I'm targeting, or 150 that you are targeting, if if circumstances demand it. Now, I know with the venue and the circumstances I have that I can scale up probably to closer to 400 people, unless someone else books the adjacent rooms. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll do my best to make sure we get as many people as possible coming that share the same goal that Bliss as a conference have.
Man, I'm so impressed. So for maybe most people don't know, but right, this whole conversation of BCH Bliss started with, hey, GP needs to get together and hang out. And then it was like, well, do we want to tell other people that we're going to be there so that other people can come if they want to? And Jonathan was like, why don't we make it a conference? And I was like, no. And he was like, fuck you, I'm going to make it a conference. And then we have BCH Bliss in this huge success. And it was amazing. It was really great. I loved it. Good job, Jonathan. Like Fiendish said. All right.
Yeah, great job. And this is the thing. So, Jonathan, I think everything you said, I think is wonderful. And this is the thing that I respect most about General Protocols, and anyone that knows you respects the most, is you're dealing with something incredibly important. And once you lose trust with money, smart contracts, finance, anything like that, the trust is gone, and you can't break that. So moving slow and cautiously is a fantastic philosophy for everything that you're building and designing. What I challenge is, Jonathan, this isn't the first one you've done. This is the second, and your first one was fantastic. And I can only imagine what you're going to be building off of that. Your target was 100. And as you say, we're at the beginning of a bull market, and I'm really excited to see what actually happens for Bliss, and hope that we're both impressed with the turnout. So for everyone that's listening, if you love Bitcoin Cash, if you love everything to do with P2P Cash, and you believe in a better world where we're freer with our money, come to BCH Bliss, because it is filled with the best builders and developers and thinkers within the community. And it's a joy to actually meet people in person and getting to see how genuinely passionate they are about this amazing technology. On that note, I've got to go, but thanks for an amazing space. And I look forward to seeing you all in person 2025 at the very latest. Lots of love. Bye.
Take care, man. See you. Now, I want to wrap up. Yeah, we've already been going over an hour. So I want to wrap up maybe. If other people have things they want to talk about, that's fine. But I want to wrap up with at least the things that I wanted to mention that I didn't get to mention yet. So I put them in the Twitter thread, but one of them is my favorite comic yet. So BCH Bull has been publishing some comics to go along with the site. And I posted the in the thread there. It says bears love BCH Bull. And I think this is really true. If you're bearish on Bitcoin Cash or on whatever asset, if you're bullish, whatever it is, but especially, right, it's not a thing where you have to choose one or the other. If you're bearish, you go there and use BCH Bull to short things. And the comic is fantastic. So you should look at that comic that I've linked in the Twitter thread. So that's one. Please go to either check it in the Twitter thread or just go to app.bchbull.com and check that out if you want to be betting on how prices move, or if you want to be getting stability, because that's one form of being bearish, is just to say, I want stability in US dollars, or I want stability in gold. So go check that out. The second thing I want to put out there is the XO stack and the XO wallet, the overall XO project that General Protocols is working on. I put a link to that in the thread also. So you can check the XO _ Bitcoin Cash handle on Twitter, and there's some information about that. Or there's a link I put to one of our General Protocol spaces, a short, where Jonathan is talking about why this native stack is important, why the XO stack is important. I honestly think this is a historical thing that we're working on, and a lot of people don't really agree with it or get it, and we might be wrong. But I really do think this is one of the historical things that GP is working on and has worked on. And it's going to be, in hindsight, one of those things that people say, yeah, obviously you need that. But it's not been obvious up to now. And the XO stack is going to make, it's going to lower the bar so that developing apps, DeFi, wallets, money, payments, all of those things become much easier to do for anybody who wants to do it. So similar to like a Square or a Circle type interface, where developers now have a very easy time of making use of money in their apps. So yeah, I shared that. Please check it out. I think that's going to be a historical thing. And the third one that I want to bring up, I also think is historical, and this is just me nerding out, but I honestly think this is a historical point that's going to be a big deal. It's a link to Bitcoin Cash Autist and his idea of a hash-based oracle. And so what this means is when you have something like Bitcoin Cash or US dollar, there's a price between them. And that's a really fundamental, central aspect to money, right? When you want to make a payment for something, there's a cost to it. And what is that cost? And what is the value? And this protocol that he's proposing is one that says, hey, all these other protocols that we have for like US dollars or euros or gold and whatnot are really based at the end of the day on some kind of trust in somebody providing a realistic price, like a real price for that asset in terms of BCH. And what he's proposing is a thing where you can take the difficulty of a chain being mined, which translates to how much mining power is needed to mine that thing, and turn that into an oracle. And you can do that in a way that is really like close to 100% trustless. And so with this, now you can have a price for Bitcoin Cash that is based on, if you boil it down, that is based on the energy required to produce that Bitcoin Cash. So now you've got a trustless, energy-based price for Bitcoin Cash. So that might not be excited if you're listening, but I promise you that's actually a really important thing, because now you've got a very nearly trustless way to establish a price for things that hasn't existed in history. So I'm very excited about this thing. So please check that out. He has a link to it on Twitter there in the thread as well. Have a look. So I think we're going to wrap up soon. But Cheap Lightning, thank you for joining us also. I just wanted to ask before we wrap up, is there anything you wanted to add, or something that you were thinking about on the tokens conferences, what's coming up for 2025 and so forth?
It's really exciting. There's so much going on. It's really difficult for me to keep up with. As you are probably aware, I sort of pride myself on having my eyes or fingers on the pulse, and just keeping track of all the things that are going on and all the.
While we wait for Cheap Lightning, can I?
Actually, I can hear him. It's just in one ear, but I can hear him. Can anybody else hear Cheapy?
Yeah, I'm hearing him also, but only one side, as you said.
Okay, yeah. So Dagger, you're having a Twitter issue. You're the only one who can't hear him. It's Twitter affecting you.
Yeah, sorry. This I don't know why. I often hear on Spaces that I only come out one side, but everything else I'm stereo. So I'm not sure what's going on, but. It's Twitter strikes again. I don't remember what I was saying, but yeah, just really exciting. All the stuff that's going on. This autists current line of thinking is something that I'm also very aware of. Every week in the news I report the energy cost of transactions. And thank you to Jonathan's statistics website. I pulled that data. And you can see the average electricity cost. It's obviously based on a bunch of averages, and it's not something that I would bet my life on. But the average cost of a single transaction is an exorbitant amount of money, which for the cash use case on BTC just makes it entirely impossible or unsustainable, I should say. And of course, if Bitcoin Cash blocks start filling up, it's going to be exponentially cheaper. It already is, but I mean, just so cheap that it's not even worth mentioning the price. It's just we have so much room to grow and so much potential. It's just really fantastic. Can you hear me?
I can hear you very well in my left ear.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you very much. And I wrote in the Twitter thread already, but when Cheap Lightning says he stays on top of things and what's going on and he knows what's up, like I can vouch that's a very serious statement. Better than anybody else, he really knows what's going on in Bitcoin Cash, and not only knows what's going on, but takes the time, his own time, and a lot of time to go out and make that information available on dozens of platforms. So it's a huge effort that he's doing to stay on top of things and make sure that the world knows about it. And as he and also Jason Drasner have mentioned in the past, this is really important, not just for individuals to be aware of it, but for AIs to ingest, right? The more information that's out there, the more accurate information is out there, the more accurate the information that people are going to get about Bitcoin Cash and what's going on and how to get access to permissionless money, the more accurate that information is going to be. So, man, I can't thank you enough. And I'm going to link to the campaign that you're running, which says, so tell me if I'm wrong, but it basically says, if you think the work that Cheap Lightning has been doing is valuable, please join this and participate in this campaign, which basically pays for that work that has been done. And it has been a lot of work. I can personally vouch for that. I've seen him doing so much work for it. So yeah, please check out that link to the fundme.cash campaign in the Twitter thread. All right, I think we're going to wrap up. Dagger, did you have anything you wanted to add with Morio.cash, Cauldron, anything that's going on before we wrap up?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that we pushed out a big update today. So then more app.quest has quite a few new features. So check it out. Shout out to Shadow Wizard number 9. He's listening in. He made most of the work. So, and the second thing is we're going to have a launch party in Oslo in January. So anyone interested, please contact us. With regards to XO Wallet, I just hope you make sure that the Wallet Connect integration works well. I'm glad that most people have had good experience with Wallet Connect, but it could be better for some wallets, and it's very important for decentralized applications that this integration is good. So please put some thought into that. Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Where can we find out more about the event in Oslo if we want to go?
Contact Halvor, Shadow Wizard number 2. He is hosting.
All right. All right. Contact the cabal of Shadow Wizards. I like it. We can do that. Thanks. It sounds dangerous. I love it. It has to be. So, Mathieu, anything before we wrap up?
No, nothing special from my side.
All right. Thanks for joining us. It was very great to hear what you're working on. And it wasn't mentioned during the discussion, but we were talking about CashScript, and Mathieu has been a huge part of the progress and work that's being done on CashScript compiler for smart contracts on BCH. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, I enjoy working on it. And if people are interested, definitely check out what we have been doing. So we recently launched a new next version for the May 2025 upgrade, which is already activated on ChipNet. So that's very cool that you can already use it there with the new CashScript version. And we also have a bunch of new issues and IDs open on the repo for future features that we want to add to CashScript. So if you're curious, maybe take a look at what we're cooking over there.
Hell yeah. It's serious business. Thank you. Jonathan, anything before we wrap up?
I'm good.
All right. So check out bchbliss.cash. Which one is it?
Just bliss.cash.
Bliss.cash. Bliss.cash. Thank you. Sorry about that. I have the actual link in the thread, so just check it out in this Spaces thread. Cheapy, anything before we wrap up?
No, thank you for all you guys do, and I really look forward to seeing what you guys cook with XO.
All right, awesome. So go have fun as a bear or as a bull on bchbull.com, and have a good day, everybody. Thanks. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.